Good morning, everybody. It's a lovely morning to drink some wine because that's kind of my job, is to drink wine. So why not? It's late morning. Sparse Bianco. This is a wine that, this is an interesting wine, an interesting story. This is 2018. So I've actually had this for a couple of years. It's a blend 50-50 of Trebbiano and Grechetto. Alcoholic percentage is 11.5. It's from Conestabile, della Staffa, which is Danilo Marcucci's vineyard in Umbria by Lake Trasimeno. So, like everything that Danilo Marcucci makes, this is naturally farmed, you know, hand harvested, fermented with native yeast, fermented with no temperature control, zero additives, it's not filtered, it's not fined, zero sulfur, it's a 0-0 wine. So the vintage is 2018. 2018 was a really good vintage in central Italy, at least here. I mean, a lot of places, but here in Umbria. Danilo had a lot of grapes to work with, more than he had, you know, well, really since he'd been making wine at Conestabile della Staffa. So he had to, you know, he was like, geez, this is great. I actually have lots of grapes instead of like other years like 2017 that was really hot and the vines didn't produce a lot of grapes because it was too hot and dry, you know, there was heat stress. So anyway, he was like, geez, I don't know what to do with all of these grapes that I have. So he made this new wine, this new label, Sparse. He made a red and a white, and just, you know, like used what he had and, you know, to make like a really good table wine, basically. So that's what this is. Hand harvested, fermented, had like 1 day of skin contact, and then fermented and aged in stainless steel until it was bottled. I want to say it was like 6 months, something like that. I remember tasting the wine over there, actually. When was that? Spring of 2019. I was over there tasting this and the red for the first time, and I was blown away. They were very good for the price. Then I got them here, and when I first got the white, it was kind of reductive. Reductive is something that happens when, in the winemaking process, the wine doesn't get exposed to a lot of oxygen, and because of it, the yeast and the bacteria, like their respiration, you know, process changes, and they produce some compounds that like change the aroma of the wine, and it generally fades over time. Or you can open it and decant it and it blows off. But when I first got the white, it was a little reductive, which meant that like it was shut down. It didn't have a lot of like fruit and floral aromas, you know, it was more sort of like earthy smelling and stuff. But I knew that it was, I mean, it went away quickly if you decanted it. I really enjoyed the wine, but I knew that it was probably going to also fade over time. So I've sort of kept on checking in with the wine, and I just opened this bottle, and it's lovely, and it really doesn't have that anymore. Like, it smells kind of tropical and melony now. Like a combination of sort of stone fruit and like pineapple and banana and stuff like that. I mean, also kind of grapey. It smells like Grechetto. It smells kind of salty. Does salt have a smell? I don't know. Maybe I need to refine that descriptor. Anyway. Yeah, sort of like briny, like ripe honeydew melon, some pineapple, a little peachy. And that's what it tastes like on the palate. It's very clean. There's a little bit of like, because it's 11.5% alcohol, because it's not really high in alcohol, there's a lightness to the wine. Like, it just is like light on my palate in a way, but it has a lot of flavor. You have that tropical stone fruit up front. You have some salt on the mid palate. It's a little bit pithy, a little bit briny, and a little bit more like spice in the, not spice, like a little like fruit, like skin, like there's fruit, but a little bit of like bitterness, like, you know, that you get from like the skin of an apricot or something like that, or like orange zest in the finish of it. It's pretty lovely. It's very easy drinking. It's a 0-0 wine, and I bought all the rest of it. It was in the country, and I got a really good deal on it. So I'm super excited to have this and sort of get this out a little bit more into Portland. I feel like this is sort of like, this is my job as a wine professional, is to try to like understand and pay attention to things like this. Because wine, you know, wine is sort of kind of a living thing that evolves as it's in the bottle, and to like really get the most out of it, sometimes you need to be able to taste it and say like, okay, I understand that like this wine is just not in its prime yet, like it's too young, it hasn't come together, whatever, or like there's this thing, but I know that it's going to change, it's probably going to take about this long, and at this point I should check back in, and I bet that this wine is going to be awesome. That's what happened here. Hooray, I got it right. All right, see you later.